The moon hung low in the cloudy sky, casting eerie shadows across the desolate graveyard. A dense fog clung to the ground, obscuring the weathered tombstones and ancient trees. The air was damp and cold, sending shivers down the spine of anyone unlucky enough to find themselves there at midnight. In a small, secluded cottage on the outskirts of town, Sarah lay in her bed, trapped in the grip of sleep paralysis. Her eyes darted wildly, unable to move as a sinister presence loomed over her. It whispered malevolent words into her ear, words that sent shivers down her paralyzed body. She tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. The room seemed to darken, and the oppressive weight of an unseen entity pressed down on her chest. It was as if the very shadows in the room had come to life, intent on suffocating her. Panic surged through her, and she fought to regain control of her body. Suddenly, with a gasp, Sarah woke up. She was no longer in her cozy bed, but standing in the heart of the graveyard, surrounded by tombstones that jutted out like broken teeth. Panic seized her as she realized she was no longer in control of her own body. It was as if some malevolent force had dragged her here against her will. The fog grew thicker, making it nearly impossible to see beyond a few feet. The only sound was the eerie rustling of leaves in the chilling breeze. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she stumbled through the graveyard, desperately searching for a way out. As she wandered deeper into the cemetery, Sarah's eyes were drawn to a faint light in the distance. A flickering lantern illuminated a decrepit mausoleum, its stone walls covered in moss and decay. She felt an irresistible pull, drawing her closer to the ominous structure. Inside the mausoleum, a dim, sickly glow emanated from an ancient, ornate mirror. Sarah's reflection appeared distorted and grotesque, as if it were a reflection of her deepest fears. She reached out, unable to control her own movements, and touched the glass. In that instant, her reflection reached back, its icy fingers wrapping around Sarah's wrist. She screamed, but no sound escaped her lips. The mirror began to ripple, and Sarah was pulled into its depths, her body contorting in ways no human body should. She found herself in a twisted, nightmarish realm. Dark, gnarled trees surrounded her, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The sky was an ominous shade of crimson, and the air was thick with an otherworldly malevolence. From the shadows emerged grotesque, nightmarish creatures with eyes that glowed like burning embers. They whispered incomprehensible words and moved closer, their twisted forms causing Sarah to recoil in terror. Desperation overcame her, and she fought to regain control of her body. With every ounce of her will, she tore herself away from the mirror's grasp. She awoke once more, back in her cottage, drenched in sweat and gasping for breath. The sleep paralysis had finally released its grip on her. It took Sarah a moment to realize that she was safe in her own room, far away from the nightmare of the graveyard. But the memory of that otherworldly realm and the sinister mirror haunted her dreams for years to come, a chilling reminder of the horrors that could lurk in the darkest corners of the night. Sarah never ventured near that graveyard again, and she knew that some mysteries were best left undisturbed, lurking in the shadows where they belong.